He was expecting, he testified, to get closer to Quando Rondo before they committed this shooting. But he said he was surprised. He didn't expect Lindsay to start shooting so quickly and so far away. Hester and Banks, though, I wanted to note, before court started, they stared at each other from across the room. It was quite a good amount of time. I couldn't see Durk's face, but Hester's face was very serious. When he looked away, he just kind of stared at the ground after.
If Jam is one of your main hitters, bro should have had the motherfucking lawyer more expensive than you. The hotel should have been the spot. You try to unalive him at a vape store. You try to unalive him at a, you feel me, gas station. Well,
outside the Level Hotel again. He testified that there was too many people outside the hotel, which is kind of similar to why they decided not to, he testified, kill Quando Rondo the night before.
Is telling you to do these hits. They need to get locked up. What the to say you was gonna do it in the cannabis club is crazy.
Confess he never ever did nothing to atone for those sins until he had a favorable deal from the feds. So if you only find God when you can find a way out of jail, I might have to question how sincere you are.
Hey, listen, man, I'm just glad that I've long since removed myself.
You were never doing shit like this. Get the fuck out of here.
This white boy got any type of say so in this type of conversation. Period.
No, you're right. I was never doing shit like this.
Kill somebody in West Hollywood in front of their hotel.
Huh?
At the gas station.
No, listen, you missed the point. I long since removed myself.
You can't remove yourself because you were never really getting down.
I've never.
That's a fact. Shout out to Adam, bro. You was never really around unless you was putting in work like that. And you was never around, Whack. That's a fact. Bro, you shot him up with a BB gun, bro. Bro shot him up with a BB gun. Swear he done caught like 10 bodies, allegedly. Like, bro, what are you talking about, bro? He swear like he just this big bad Pyru that don't claim Pyru at this moment. Oh, I'm not in the hood. I'm not over here doing this, doing that. I'm not Pyru. Da, 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 da. I'm over here doing business. No, you not, bro. You always trying to be, when something pop up, oh no, well, I was in when I was doing this in back in the pen, or I was doing this, I would have never did. Motherfucker, you wouldn't have did that because you's a goofy.
You're right.
You got no skits.
Do I look like loose cannon?
Hey,
motherfucker?
Hey, by the way,
you're right. I ain't never did nothing.
No skits.
Hey, by the way, these guys were such.
All I got is Skittles.
Hey, by the way, these guys were such fish out of water. You know, obviously they go to California. They're trying to kill him at a dispensary. They send one of the eventual shooters. His name is Brown Eyes. He walks in there. I guess if they've never really been to Cali like that, but they're seeing the dispensary. They realize, I guess in all Cali dispensaries, there's a security guard, and they realize Quando is in the back. So they say, I'm not going to do it there. They was going to do it at a clothing store. When they go to the spot, they were like, you know what? Let's kill him in bait. And then they look. They're like, I think these guys are going to be able to lock us in here by pressing a button. So that's how they waited at the gas station. They thought about it like a bunch of times.
Hi, I'm Taylor Priest with Los Angeles Magazine, and we are back at Lil Durk's murder for hire trial, where we picked back up where we left off yesterday with Casey Hester, or OTF JAM's testimony. So we kind of went back, got a little more information about what happened leading up to the murder of Savia Robinson. Hester and Banks, though, I wanted to note, before court started, they stared at each other from across the room. It was quite a good amount of time. I couldn't see Durk's face, but Hester's face was very serious. When he looked away, he just kind of stared at the ground after. And it was...
Think about it, bro. When you telling on somebody, bro, you telling about, you feel me, all that, but your street cred go down. So OTF JAM probably looking down like, everything I done did, everything, you know what I mean, everything I done set up for my name, out the door. But you feel me, when you unaliving people like this, bro, you gonna have a guilty conscience, bro. I don't give a fuck, bro. You gonna have a guilty conscience. Not just that, bro. Like, you gotta remember, if Durk ain't feeding the guys when they go to jail, bro, like, come on, bro. Hold on, bro. All these motherfuckers that went to jail, you should have got one lawyer, right? For everybody, right? So then you will know who's telling, because the lawyer's gonna come back to you like, hey, bro, Mr. We're talking about he gonna say this. This month, you know what I mean? You're gonna know what's going on in the case. But by you not getting them lawyers, that automatically thinking like, okay, bro, now I done did this, done did that for OTF, done did this, and then you know what I mean? Like, if Jam is one of your main hitters, bro should have had the motherfucking lawyer more expensive than you.
It's noted before court started that they couldn't see Hester's face. They wanted to make sure they had a clear view of Hester's face. They had to move the monitor, and from my recollection, that monitor was there yesterday, so I don't know if this is a new thing that they decided they wanted in court today. So again, we got back to Hester's testimony where he testified. They went back to the Level Hotel where Quando Rondo and his crew were staying, and they parked that Infiniti and that BMW that was rented right outside the Level Hotel again. He testified that there was too many people outside the hotel, which is kind of similar to why they decided not to, he testified, kill Quando Rondo the night before.
I tend to say that it's right to unalive somebody, but the hotel should have been the spot. You try to unalive him at a babe store. You try to unalive him at a, you feel me, gas station. Well, you didn't try. You actually unalived him at a gas station, but those are popular spots. Not just that. Security guards everywhere. The hotel, you could have caught bro getting some ice or something. Have somebody come messed up. You know what I mean? Like, come on, bro. Y'all goofy, bro. Not telling anybody to take a life or nothing like that, but I'm just saying, bro, like, how are you gonna try to take a life? Not just that, bro. How you gonna try to shoot at somebody in front of a gas station and a vape store, bro? Who the fuck is telling you to do these hits? They need to get locked up. What the f?
And there were too many people driving around. So he discussed the BMW and the Infiniti. He was in the Infiniti with Keith Jones and Lindsay and Asa Houston. They were all in the Infiniti together, and then DeAndre Wilson and Grant were in the rented BMW. He testified to them following the black Escalade that Quando Rondo and Savia Robinson were in to a weed dispensary called Litco. He said that they were looking around for a, quote, quick getaway. He then discussed, he said they were on the phone the entire time, the Infiniti and the BMW. They were in constant contact, is what he said, discussing when the right time was. At one point, Hester testified that Lindsay went into the dispensary to get a look to see where Quando Rondo was. He had said Quando Rondo was towards the back, and they didn't feel like that was the right place. So they then followed the black Escalade to a clothing store in Beverly Hills, and there Hester testified that they were on the phone talking about how they were worried that door of the clothing store had an automatic lock on it and they didn't want to be stuck, but they allegedly considered going inside and shooting Quando Rondo there. He states multiple times that he does not know Los Angeles. He doesn't know the area, so he can't speak to where they're at most of the time, but he said he remembers the hotel, he remembers the weed dispensary, he remembers the clothing store, and the next thing he remembers was getting to that gas station adjacent from the Beverly Hills, the Beverly Center. He even says at one point he doesn't even know what the Beverly Center is until his attorney tells him what it is. So he explains this even in the getaway that he doesn't know.
See, and if he would have knew that the Beverly Center was right there, he'd have been like, "Oh nah, bro, nah, code red." Bro, how are you not gonna know, bro? Okay, look, bro. I'm not saying like my hood is the hoodest of the hoodest. You feel me? But bro, look, if you in the hood, you know you in the hood, right? If you somewhere where there's rich people and bro, Beverly Hills, how you not gonna know that there's cameras everywhere and there's people ready to snitch and they ain't gonna, like, bro, a gas station is the dump, bro. That gotta be the worst spot you can think of. Oh, it's a gold. No, it's not a gold. What? No. Everybody, go to the house. Go to the honeycomb, bro. Retract that. We ain't doing that here. To say you were gonna do it in a, to say you was gonna do it in the cannabis club is crazy. A cannabis club, bro. Do you not know a cannabis club, cameras, security, they're ready for somebody to go up in there and do some dumb. A babe store? A babe store, bro. Who's gonna go in a babe store and try to rob them? Let alone unalive somebody. Goofy. Then you go to the mother you not know. Come on, bro. This crazy, bro. Like, who's the goofy that said go? It's a go. Like, can go.
The area.
Dirt
So
probably
once they
stressed.
get
Like,
to
these
the
goofies, bro.
gas station, he testifies that they drove next to the Escalade. He even says that a tall person got out.
If they would have came out of the dispensary, they're gonna try to go through the back roads, just cause. You know what I mean? Even though you just got the tree legal, all that, you're still gonna try to. I get weed, I get tree legal, bro, and I'm still going through the back roads. I ain't trying to get blurred. Like, you feel me? I'm legal, license, everything, but I still go down the back roads. So why, you feel me? They wait. Okay, if they going through, you feel me, the cannabis club, and then they go to the back roads, get them right there. Why the fuck? In
Their
a
car,
gas station? At a gas
and then
station?
he drives around. They drive around Houston. Asa Houston was driving the Infinity. He said he knew the BMW. He didn't know where, but he knew they were in the area, and that the white Infinity drove around the gas station. And that is when he described Lindsay jumping out of the car, moving very quickly. So him and Keith Jones were following after, and he said he was expecting, he said he's used to, this is a quote, he's used to walking on people. And so he was expecting, he testified, to get closer to Quando Rondo before they committed this shooting. But he said he was surprised. He didn't expect Lindsay to start shooting so quickly and so far away. So Lindsay, he said.
Did you hear that? He didn't expect for him to shoot from far away. So if you shooting from far away, bro, you scared. Bro, if you on a hit and you see him, why is he shooting way back there, bro? The target up here.
Threw him off, and then they all began shooting at this black Escalade. And the prosecutor asked him, were you worried about shooting at gas pumps? Were you worried about an explosion? And he very quickly was like, no, they were not concerned about that. He even kind of imitated what he heard when the shooting was occurring. He was
another reason. Did you just hear what they said? You wasn't worried about like blowing up the gas station on GTA type shit? Like, no. What? That's a gas station, bro. It got gas. What the? It's a ship. I'm done, bro.
He's like dum dum dum. Like he imitated the gunshots happening. Like he could hear it in his mind, and he also testified to it just being a very chaotic scene. He said at one point he felt like Lindsay may have fallen over. Lindsay was shouting at Jones for shooting too close to his head, which is something that the gun expert had also mentioned, that it looked like someone had gotten shocked by the blast of the gun next to his head. Then he talks about getting back into the Infinity, driving around. He's on the phone.
Hold on, bro. Hold on. Did she just say he was on the phone? Okay, bro. I'm from, you feel me, early 2000s, you feel me, era, right? First thing my OGs told me, hey, bro, you finna go over here and do what you need to do. Take your phone out your pocket. Take the battery out the phone. Leave it at a spot where you're not going to go nowhere near. Leave it there. Handle your business. Don't have none of that on you. Bro, this is early 2000 era. Y'all era, bro, is FaceTime. Oh, we finna go blap, bruh. Next FaceTime. You really blapping that, bruh. Next FaceTime. You in handcuffs. Dumb. Like, bro, do y'all not get this shit? Like, keep that shit off the net.
DeAndre Wilson being on the phone with Banks, who he calls Blood.
Being on the phone after you just did a hit. As soon as you get the hit, hey, bro, we're coming down this way. Hey, bro, or hey, I'm on my way. Like, what? Bro, we in 2026, bro. The best technology in the fucking world. And you gonna get on your phone right after that. That's when they got towers, ping towers, motherfucker, that's gonna ping your phone everywhere you went. Ping, 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 ping. First thing is, bro, don't bring no phone with you. Don't bring nothing. You better not even have an ID on your Well, you better not even have an ID in your wallet if you're doing some shit this.
Blood's voice. Wilson was asking the group questions about who shot who, where they were at, wanting details from what happened. And he testified that Durk was also asking these questions to Wilson, who was asking them, relaying the information back. And yeah, so he did testify that he heard Blood's or Durk's voice on that phone call. He then also, I thought it was interesting that they then make a car switch to the black Escalade, which we knew there was a switch in cars. We hadn't heard that before. The Infiniti gets dropped off or abandoned. They get in the BMW, he says, a lot of guys squeezing this small car, and then they somehow transition to the black Escalade. Hester testified he didn't quite know how they got there, but they get in that car. And the prosecutor was very specific. Was there a partition? Could the driver hear you? And he said there was not a partition. And this is something he asked before, so I wonder if there's a driver testifying. I wonder if they're setting it up for the conversation in the Escalade could be heard. This is also the same Escalade that ended up driving them to the San Diego airport that night to fly back to Chicago. He then talks about how he testifies to once he got back home, he left San Diego, he felt very mad. He felt like the shooting had nothing to do with him. He called it, quote, sloppy. He said, in my eyes, this guy was innocent. And he didn't know at that point, he testified, that it was Robinson who was.
That was some goofy, you feel me, activities because you at a gas station. But to say that, you feel me, Pab was innocent, nah, bro. Pab already did all his shit in the streets. Not just that, he was already dissing Vaughn, saying smoking on Vaughn and this and that. He was already dissing him. So, I mean, not saying that it's a good thing that they popped him, but I'm just saying, like, bro wasn't innocent, bro. And a lot of people usually do this. My son was innocent. No, he wasn't. That little motherfucker was out here acting up. Sorry to say it like that.
Was hit, but he said even Quando Rondo, like, he had nothing to do with this beef. He didn't know King Von very well. He didn't know Quando Rondo. He didn't feel involved, and that came up a lot. He said he had a lot of negative feelings towards that. He also said he felt Durk was, quote, selfish in asking him to be a part of this, or having him be a part of this, allegedly. Right, people call him for money. It was all about how Blood was supplying the cars. Blood wanted to make sure that things didn't go awry on this alleged plot against Lamron. Finally, what was played was we went to the moment where Hester decided he wanted to be a snitch. He wanted to come forward. He discussed a somewhat guilty conscience because he didn't feel like the murder of Robinson was justified. He wasn't involved. He called him again. He said he was innocent. He said, this is a quote, "It was weighing on me and I saw the opportunity." He was arrested in 2023 on a completely unrelated charge. He was on probation. But back to the music video, at phone San Diego airport that night to fly back. His last was the whole world saw them run. Them being O-Block, the crew, they ran when King Von was shot, and that was very embarrassing. That wasn't, they lost a lot of respect from that. And then they go into some beef with Rancho Lamron, his beef with the group, OTF. They were beefing with Booney Mo, or Lamron was beefing with Booney Mo, and they all picked Booney Mo's side. And that beef seemed to indicate, I think they were just trying to prove that Durk is a leader in all of this, because there is a voice conversation played, and the prosecution, the judge made it very clear to the jury this has nothing to do with Lindsay. His attorney wanted that to be made clear, that this was not evidence against Lindsay. But there's this whole voice message played where they say, let me find it. Blood wants shit to go right. People call him for money. It was all about how Blood was supplying the cars. Blood wanted to make sure that things didn't go awry on this alleged plot against Lamron. Finally, what was played was we went to the moment where Hester decided he wanted to be a snitch. He wanted to come forward. He discussed a somewhat guilty conscience because he didn't feel like the murder of Robinson was justified. He wasn't involved. He called him again. He said he was innocent. He said, this is a quote, "It was weighing on me and I saw the opportunity." He was arrested in 2023 on a completely unrelated charge. He was on probation for that 12-year stint he had in jail, and he was pulled over with a gun in his car, violated his probation, went back to jail, and that is when he passed along a note that was shown in court that said, "I know about murders. I don't want to talk on camera. I know a lot."